The Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra, one of my favorite phones of 2021, but today we have an update for the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra. It now runs Android 12 and of course MIUI 13.05 to be precise. So how is it now and did it fix the issues that I had with the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra? So the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra, I found that I genuinely like because of photography. I love photography. However, the Mi 11 Ultra wasn't perfect for that. Not to mention that it did miss some features that I find important as well. The headphone jack and micro SD. I would have loved to see that on, of course, the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra. Of course, the shutter button. But when it comes to mobile photography, I think the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra in daytime is a solid phone. However, if it got more difficult with, for instance, low light, you could definitely tell that the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra was struggling, even though it has a really large sensor with a 1/1.2 inch sensor size. Compare that to something like Samsung, it's quite a bit larger. With that being said though, how is it now with Android 12? Has it improved in low light photography? Because that's one of the main objects that I really want to see better on the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra. Let's find out.
So the Xiaomi Mi 11, as stated, wasn't ideal when it came to low light situations. If light wasn't optimal, you could clearly tell. Now, these shots aren't properly comparable with the shots I've taken in a later date, of course, but it just gives an impression on how it performed before this update to Android 12. So do keep that in mind when you look at these images. It's not a one-to-one comparison, but it does give an indication on how it performed in low light and less than ideal lighting situations. You can clearly tell that the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra has improved a lot when it comes to low light photography. I would say it's one of the better performance in low light. I would still also say that in low light it isn't the best. The Xiaomi 12 Pro, as stated, is the better when it comes to low light situations, but I will have to say that it is very capable in low light now, compared to before where I couldn't trust it in those situations, especially when the sun was going down. It just wasn't that good. So here's some more shots showcasing how it now performs in low light.
You know where it's even more prominent when you use that rear camera? In low light. In low light it would definitely perform much better compared to what you are trying to do with the front facing camera. Not to mention, by the way, I haven't mentioned it, but if you use the volume button it starts recording, so it isn't something where you need to press record, then switch, of course, the camera around and whatnot. No, it's just holding or pressing the volume button and it will then record with the rear facing camera. Now let's try how the front facing camera will look like. Okay, so this is with the front-facing camera, by the way, recording everything in 1080p and 30 frames per second, so it all is the same resolution as well, even though with the rear camera, of course, I can record the max resolution. But here's the front-facing camera, 1080p and 30 frames per second, HDR on, just like the rear camera. So it definitely has improved a lot when it comes to the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra and getting that Android 12 update. Low light photography is really usable now and shots look really good. Apart from still having that approach of looking too bright. A lot of phone brands love to do this and I don't know why, but it just doesn't look natural and it destroys some of the character that you have in low light photography. No, having a brighter shot doesn't make a better shot, by the way, people, just so you know. Either way, when it comes to low light, it definitely has improved. It is, however, not on the level of the Xiaomi 12 Pro. That one definitely beats it. Well, I would say that the Xiaomi 12 Pro beats every phone I've used so far in low light photography by some margin. It allows for a more natural approach when it comes to low light and it doesn't brighten up the shots most of the time. Sometimes it does it, but that's very minimal when it comes to it. However, with that being said, the Mi 11 Ultra has definitely improved a lot when it comes to low light photography. But that's not the only issue that I had with the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra. There's a second display right there on the back, right next to the cameras. Would be ideal to, of course, use that for filming yourself. Now, of course, pictures were allowed, but video recording, that didn't work. So with this new Android 12, I'm happy to say that it actually works now. Not to mention that the interface of the camera system itself has also improved. Right now on the interface there's a simple button to press for, of course, using the rear display for video and stills. This is a definite improvement. So let's showcase the huge difference it makes comparing both the front-facing camera and the rear-facing camera in the same resolution and see which one performs better. This is not going to be a surprise, is it? This is going to be an easy win for, of course, the rear camera. But let's show it anyway, because the difference is quite large. Now as stated, one of the biggest advantages of using that rear display is that you can now record yourself in that preview display with the rear-facing camera, allowing for much better quality compared to your main sensor. Let's compare. Now this is now the selfie camera to see how it performs here in terms of lighting and in terms of audio, but I don't expect much difference there. Just maybe quality. Well, not maybe, 100% for sure. Of course, it's not all about photography. You're not here just for that base, but those are the two main points where I felt like Xiaomi really needed to improve. So, how is the general use of the phone? Has it improved a lot? Honestly, I would have to say that there hasn't been much of an improvement there. MIUI 13 still feels the same. There are some small changes that make the general use a little bit different, but overall I wouldn't say that you will notice it in day-to-day life. Battery life, for instance, hasn't improved, which is something that I would love to see on the Mi 11 Ultra. It's not bad in terms of battery life, but it's just not as amazing as, for instance, the Xiaomi 12X. That one just beats that one easily. Of course, that does have a smaller display. Either way, the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra in terms of software experience feels very similar, and there isn't much to be said about the difference here between MIUI 12.5 and of course MIUI 13 in terms of just general use. There are some small changes, visual changes, but overall I will have to say that Xiaomi still needs to work on that software, making it a little bit lighter. For now it still feels a little bit heavy, and you can tell in terms of day-to-day use that the animations aren't as nice and fluid as some other phones have, but overall I don't experience any stutters or anything like that. So software experience is fine, but it can definitely be better as well. So the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra after update is a really solid phone. There are a lot of improvements that really matter. Some small tweaks in terms of course sliding down the settings and then those kind of visual changes. But overall what really mattered was that camera update for low light photography and dynamic range shots. But of course also that rear display, being able to use that properly and utilize the features that you can with then of course the rear camera. Like having a better camera to use to record yourself. It works intuitive and it works really well. So in terms of that, great updates and things that I felt like they needed to update. Of course, like hardware updates are impossible via software. For instance, the fingerprint scanner still doesn't work as well as, for instance, an ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, which is something that I really want to see on the Xiaomi 12 Ultra, but we'll have to wait and see which that one comes with. But either way, the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra is a really good improvement overall when it comes to having these updates and making the phone just that much better than it was before. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, comment below, which is also really important for the algorithm stuff, and of course watch the video in completeness. Subscribe, hit the bell icon. And of course, I hope this video was informative for you, so you have more information about the Xiaomi Mi 11 Ultra and how the performance is these days. I think it's important to sometimes go back to older phones, as in a year old, if even that. Anyway, have a good one and talk to you guys in the next.